Hi, everybody. I'm Joseph Goodman from Goodman Games. I'm here to talk to you about the NDDC Creator Summit, which is Friday, March 14th. There's a link in the chat down below, which has full details. That's the Zoom events page where you can register and get your ticket. But this couple-minute overview will give you the basic information. Now, Goodman Games is well known for Dungeon Crawl Classics, Mutant Crawl Classics, and X Crawl Classics, among other things. You may or may not know that we offer a free license that you can use to publish your own creations compatible with our products. We were actually one of the very first companies to ever do this. The license has existed for something like 11, 12, maybe 13 years by now, maybe even longer. I don't remember exactly. And there have been literally hundreds of compatible products created for DCC RPG and related lines. All of them created by fans just like you. Writers, designers, artists, people who wanted to get out there and get their ideas into the public realm and see what other people think of them. In the early days, this was done by launching products at blogs and at cons. We were doing this well before Kickstarter was a thing. Nowadays, they often launch by crowdfunding or other similar methods. So we are holding this summit in March to connect all of the many creators out there and give them a forum to speak with each other and learn from each other, and to share some of the knowledge that we here at Goodman Games have accumulated over the years as we have published hundreds, at this point perhaps thousands of titles. We keep track of all the DCC crowdfundings. There have been, as of January 1st, there were 215 DCC-related Kickstarters and backer crowdfundings, which is frankly incredible. Since then, there's been another dozen or so that have launched. When you include all the products launched in the early era on blogs and at cons, and the many Kickstarters that launch serial issues of a publication or multiple publications, at this point, I believe there's somewhere in the range of 300 to 400 DCC titles available. I hope that number grows, and I hope you're part of it. So let's talk about the summit. It's a one-day event. It runs the full day, Friday, March 14th. The basic structure is 1 hour slots. You can drop in and attend 1 or 2 or 3 of them, or you can be there for the whole day, or you can pay the ticket fee and get the recordings and watch them later at your leisure. It's up to you. The benefit of attending live is you can participate in the chat and interact with the presenters. And as we have done this before in Zoom events, there's sort of an event chat on the side as well, and you can connect with other creators there. But of course, not everybody can dedicate a full day. So if you can't make it for the full day, pick 1 or 2 that you want to see the most, drop into those, and then watch the recordings later. I'm going to briefly outline the sessions, and you'll find this on the events page as well. The first 1 hour is an introduction with myself and probably a guest or two. We'll talk about the day in detail and some of the many resources available for indie creators. The second hour is called Printing Fundamentals and Advanced Printing Techniques. I will talk about my experience printing lots and lots of books over the years and the transition from print on demand to offset printing and what it could mean for you as a publisher. We'll talk about common terminology, just intricacies, details, things it takes to get your product actually printed if you intend to go not just digital, but print. And I will be joined by my friend and colleague, Phil Reed, who is famous, first of all, for having launched an unbelievable number of Kickstarters, but also for having been the CEO of Steve Jackson Games. Phil has an incredible wealth of experience printing everything from zines to $500,000 print jobs for Steve Jackson Games. After that, we have Crowdfunding 101, which will be basic techniques and strategies. This will be presented by the experts at BackerKit, who not only have done, at this point, probably thousands or tens of thousands of pledge managers for practically every Kickstarter to ever exist, but they also have extensive experience in managing the actual crowdfunding process via their crowdfunding platform. So they will give you lots of advice, and this particular session is aimed mostly at beginning creators who are relatively new in their sort of journey. Perhaps you've never done a crowdfunding before, or you've done one and maybe getting ready for your second. This will be sort of the fundamentals of crowdfunding. The next session is digital selling tools on DriveThruRPG. This session is all about how to sell digital products as opposed to the printing seminars earlier. DriveThruRPG has an incredible wealth of tools available to help you get your products out there, whether it's simple marketing tools or much more complex advanced techniques that will get your products into the view of the general public and out in there to make people find you. It's kind of amazing how many tools they have. Even here at Goodman Games, we use a couple of them, and I'm continually surprised by, oh yeah, we can also do that, and we discover new things we can do. So Cage and Meredith and Brooke from the DriveThru team will be joining us, and we'll tell everybody about all the amazing tools you can use to get your indie product out there in the eyes of fans on DriveThru. The next section is called Zine Making 101. Goodman Games has a DIY ethos. Obviously, we invite you to create your own products. We firmly believe in doing it yourself. And there's been probably dozens, if not hundreds, of zines launched for DCC RPG ever since the very first licensed product, which was the Crawl zine, which has now gone through 13 issues. It's just an amazing place, and I love looking at zines myself. I've always been a zine reader. But we will have 4 of the most prolific zine creators here to talk to you. And this is really, the DIY approach. So how to everything from actually stapling the zines yourself to how do you put together the content to how do you do the layout, how do you make it all come together, how do you sell it. You're just going to hear from 4 very experienced zine producers about how they did it, and perhaps how you can. The next section is called Inspirational Art Direction 101. If you're going to publish an RPG product, you're probably going to be working with artists. And if you're going to be working with artists, it is very helpful to know how to work with them best in a way that is not strictly transactional, but inspirational. I think all of us as creative types do better work if we really love what we're working on. The purpose of this session is to discuss art direction as a practice and techniques for doing it effectively and ineffectively, what to avoid, and how to do it in an inspirational way that really makes artists really want to work with you. We'll have several experienced art directors here to talk to you about all those subjects. The next segment is called Technical RPG Layout 101. This is actually a really hard segment because we've learned from our prior experience working with creators that there is intense interest in the technical aspect of RPG layout and specifically how to do it for free or close to free. There are quite a few free tools out there. There are also quite a few really expensive tools if you want to get into InDesign and things you have to pay subscription fees for. And the more you get into print production, the more you have to really consider that. But this session, this 1-hour session, is really going to be about the technical aspect of just getting started. What are the basics of doing layout? It's hard to get too detailed on any one program because they're all a little different. We'll talk about common terms and terminology and give you just enough to get started, enough that we can do in 1 hour to get you started and make you feel comfortable on your first layout project. The next section is the roundtable advice from experienced indie creators. There are quite a few people out there who have run not 1, not 2, but 3, 4, 5, maybe even 10 crowdfundings. So the purpose of this session is to let you hear from experienced creators who have done this quite a few times. And I'm asking them to each come up with their top 2 or 3 tips to pass on to new creators. What are the things that they've learned that they can teach you about and that you can learn from, either things to do or things to avoid? And you'd be amazed what things you can learn just from hearing from other people who have done this before you. So that's the purpose of this session. Then we have the artist drink and draw. One of the things we do here at Goodman Games, just to sort of keep camaraderie up, is our art director, Matt. Every so often he hosts a drink and draw, and it is exactly what it sounds like. Everybody gets on Zoom, draws, maybe has a drink. So this will be a drink and draw live. We'll basically sit there and watch 5 or 10 artists draw stuff real time on their easels. We ask them that they aim the Zoom not at their faces, but down at their art. You're going to see them drawing, and we will pitch some topics that might be of interest to publishers. How do you work best with publishers? What's your best art direction experience? What's your worst art direction experience? How do you handle payment? Just stuff like that. And people will draw, maybe have a drink, maybe answer some questions. It's just kind of a hangout session with a bunch of artists, and it may give you a better understanding of how to work well with artists. The next segment is called Inspirational Adventure Design 101. This is where you will hear from some of the very experienced Goodman Games creators who have published, in some cases, dozens or hundreds of adventures that are just amazingly well written. So you'll hear from Michael Curtis, Chris Doyle, Brendan LaSalle, Harley Stroh, several others who I can't rattle off the top of my tongue. But this is your chance to hear from a lot of very experienced adventure writers. What are the things that they have done that might help you create really cool RPG adventures in your own time? Then finally, we will close the day with Crowdfunding 201, Marketing and Growth. Another set of reps from the Backer Kit team will join us. In this session will be for the more experienced creators, those who already have a couple projects under their belt and are interested in really growing their business. So it's about Facebook marketing, how to prepare effective ads, what ads work the best, cross collaborations, things like that, really into the next level of crowdfunding. So all in all, we have, I think it's 9 hours of programming at this point. We've done this before, and somebody comes to me with a cool idea for a seminar. I'm like, yeah, we should add that. So by the time we get there on March 14th, we might have another segment or 2. Right now it stands at this. It'll be a long day, but I think it'll be a very educational and productive day. It'll let you join or reaffirm your commitment within the community of DCC indie creators. And I think we'll all have a fun time and learn quite a bit. I actually love these myself because every time I do one of these, I've been doing this for 20 years and I still learn something new. So many aspects of this industry are continually evolving. I mean, crowdfunding is a big one right now, as well as other segments. And there's always somebody out there trying something new that I walk away thinking, oh, maybe I'll try that. That's a cool idea. Anyway, hope to see you Friday, March 14th. More details below. So we hope you guys enjoy this. And by the way, this is not a free event. It does cost $20 for a ticket. We do put a ton of time and labor into this project. My staff does get paid. They would like to eat tonight, so we do have to charge for their labor. So we do ask that you spend $20 for a ticket. In return, you'll have access during the day to all this amazing wealth of knowledge. And of course, you'll get access to the recordings as well. So let us know if you have any questions or check the events page, which is linked below. It should answer most of the details. We hope to see you on Friday, March 14th. Thanks. Talk to you later.